How does a creature barely taller than a typical desk survive in a landscape teeming with the world's most formidable predators? The answer lies in a combination of high-speed acrobatics, complex chemical communication, and a highly unusual social life. When you first see an Oribi, it looks like a fragile creature from a fairy tale. Weighing only about 26 to 45 pounds and standing just 20 inches at the shoulder, it features a glossy, yellowish to reddish-brown coat that contrasts beautifully with its snow-white belly. The males sport a pair of slender, upright horns that pierce the air like tiny needles. Yet, despite their delicate appearance, these animals are perfectly engineered survival machines built for life in the open savanna. One of the most remarkable things about the Oribi is its escape strategy. Unlike many smaller mammals that dive into burrows when danger approaches, the Oribi relies on pure athleticism. When a predator gets too close, they don't just run, they perform a spectacular display known as stotting or pronking. To a human onlooker, they look like a joyful, bouncing dance. To a hungry predator, however, they send a clear, discouraging message. If the predator doesn't take the hint, the Oribi can take off at an astonishing speed, reaching up to 25 to 30 miles per hour, darting and weaving through the grass in a zigzag pattern that easily confuses its pursuers. Beyond their physical agility, Oribis are masters of communication, though much of their language is completely invisible to us. They are endowed with an extraordinary array of scent glands, 6 distinct sets in total, which they use to map out and defend their territory. They have glands behind their ears, between their hooves, on their knees, and perhaps most noticeably, large black oval bare patches below their ears, which secrete a strong-smelling fluid. They carefully rub these glands against twigs, grass stems, and rocks, effectively painting their environment with chemical signposts. These scent marks tell neighbors exactly who owns the territory, how healthy they are, and whether they are ready to mate. It is a complex, olfactory internet that keeps the peace without the need for constant, dangerous physical confrontations. While many small antelope species are strictly monogamous, living out their lives in reclusive pairs, the Oribi likes to keep its options open. They exhibit a surprisingly flexible social structure. You might find a solitary individual, a classic breeding pair, or a small harem consisting of one dominant male and 2 or 3 females. What makes their social dynamic truly special is the level of cooperation within the group. Oribis are fiercely territorial, defending areas of up to 100 acres. When a threat appears, the member of the group that spots it first will let out a sharp, high-pitched whistle or a sneeze-like alarm call. This instantly alerts the rest of the group, giving them precious seconds to locate the danger and prepare their escape. Life in the open grassland also requires a highly specialized diet, and here, the Oribi is an environmental asset. They are selective grazers, focusing primarily on fresh, green grasses that are rich in protein. However, because their small stomachs can only hold so much, they have to be highly efficient. This need for fresh growth means they are strongly attracted to areas that have recently experienced wildfires. While a raging bushfire drives most animals away, the Oribi eagerly moves back into the blackened landscape just days later to feast on the highly nutritious, mineral-rich green shoots that emerge from the ashes. By keeping these fast-growing grasses trimmed, they actually help maintain the health of the ecosystem, preventing single plant species from taking over, allowing a wider variety of flora to thrive. Unfortunately, the story of the Oribi is also one of vulnerability. Because they rely heavily on pristine, tall grasslands, they are incredibly sensitive to habitat destruction. As human settlements expand, these open spaces are increasingly converted into agricultural fields or commercial livestock pastures. Overgrazing by cattle removes the tall grass shelter the Oribi needs to hide from predators, leaving them exposed and defenseless. Furthermore, because they tend to freeze in place when they think they haven't been spotted, relying on their camouflage before bursting into a sprint, they are particularly vulnerable to illegal hunting with dogs and snares. In several regions across Africa, particularly in parts of South Africa, Oribi populations have plummeted, landing them on regional endangered lists and sparking intensive conservation efforts. Protecting the Oribi requires a deep understanding of their unique lifestyle. Conservationists are working alongside landowners to create protected grassland corridors.